Yeah, we do have that Gallup polling about trust
Yeah.
in media, and now, as in recent years, and let's be honest, Scott, a lot of this is driven by the rhetoric on your side of the aisle. I mean, it's not.
You think it's driven by the rhetoric and not the performance?
Absolutely.
Let's go to Scott and the retards.
Hello, Scott, has taken advantage of this situation, I think, quite cleverly, quite wisely. They've played into a weakness.
What situation?
The situation of media being under attack. And so they've created a situation where...
You've almost got it. Keep going. What the right wing is taking advantage of is finally the American people saying enough is enough. They're tired of feeling like the mass media screens out one viewpoint versus another in political coverage. They're tired of media institutions favoring one party over another. They're tired of narratives over factual stories. If I had any advice for 60 Minutes or anybody else, it would be just cover the news and try to be fair about it and stop putting your finger on the scale, especially during campaigns.
You're talking about the old mass media myth that you could have this thing that was in the middle. The Walter Cronkite saying, that's the way it is, when it wasn't for many Americans the way it was. When people were pissed off.
But people back in those days trusted the media, didn't they?
No, they just couldn't be heard. Because there was no two-way. Now we have the internet.
Look at the Gallup polling. It was here, and now it's here. It's fallen off of a cliff.
Yeah, we do have that Gallup polling about trust in media, and now, as in recent years, and let's be honest, Scott, a lot of this is driven by the rhetoric on your side of the aisle. I mean, it's not.
You think it's driven by the rhetoric and not the performance?
Absolutely. That's the question.
But my point is this.
Yes.
If you're CBS or any other news outlet, the reason that you have lost trust ought to be obvious to you, and the way to fix it also ought to be obvious to you, and it has nothing to do with Donald Trump and everything to do with the product. Just try to make a better product that appeals to more people. And the way you appeal to more people is by not crapping on half or more than half of the country because of their values and political viewpoints.
I think that is a fair, just if we were sort of on another planet, out of context.
Yes, Scott. And that is why you are not one of the retards. It's Scott and the retards. The media has, that is a clip that Stephanie Ruhle should see herself. The media lied about all of this stuff. Now you're wondering why we don't trust the institutions. And to get this to the top of the show, it's a damn shame. Because when people stop trusting the institutions altogether, countries need institutions, right? We need things that we can look to and have some basic level of trust in so that we can function as a society, right? Like, it's one thing, you're in your own home with your own family. You have a certain set of rules and a belief system and whatever, right? And that can work at times and not work at times, but that's how it works in your own home. And then you have a neighbor and you have a community and you have a city and you have a state. But within that, you need institutions that provide some level of services for the people to make sure we don't have, let's say a crazy pandemic outbreak. But if instead what they do is make you crazy during an outbreak that perhaps they even started at a Wuhan lab, well, then they break our trust. And when the media breaks our trust, then people start believing all sorts of crazy things, which is partly connected to what Jordan was talking about at the top of the show. That's why it's so dangerous what these people did. They lied to us about so many things, very fine people, COVID, all of the rest of it, that now everyone is just like questioning absolutely everything. And because we've become atomized, what was the word that Jordan used in the top of the Rogan clip? Not atomized. He said something else right at the top of that Jordan clip. We've become something, find that first word he says right at the top. But I'll use the word atomized, that we all are, what did he say? Virtualized is what Jordan said, meaning that as we all go off into our own corners and just say, okay, this is true and this is what's in my world, and keep everything out of our world. Like, if we don't have institutions that we can trust that will actually help us all have some co-truth, right? There's only one truth, but enough of us have to believe in it, then the whole freaking thing will fail.